All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our next episode of Elevate Charlotte. This one is called Boots on the Ground. It's about Mark and Kristy and their takeaways from SOF Week, which they attended 2 weeks ago, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So why don't you guys start with an introduction for people who don't know who you are? Mark on the move.
Well, good morning, everyone. Mark Odell, Charlotte County Economic Development Office's Business Retention and Expansion Manager. We have over 11,000 businesses here in Charlotte County, and my role is to just keep a pulse on them and various sectors just to maintain their health and help them look at growth strategies, what we can do to further grow, expand, and make them more profitable.
Awesome. And I'm Kristy Sisler. I am the Business Recruitment Manager for Charlotte County, and my goal is to go out and recruit those companies that fill the sectors that we're looking for, like healthcare, advanced manufacturing, aviation, and facilitate their expansion into Charlotte County.
Excellent. So before we start talking about SOF Week, can you talk a little bit about what's a typical day in the life of Business Retention and Expansion Manager?
It's all across the board. We've got small companies that make little widgets and gadgets or sell toothpaste on the small side. Others contribute heavily to our defense industrial base and making classified materials for bombs and things like that here in Charlotte County. So it's all across the spectrum, but many of the needs are the same. Whether it's workforce development, child care, transportation, and just basic growth strategies. A lot of my role is to take the executives out of working in the business for maybe an hour just to work on the business, strategize. What's our pain points? You celebrate our successes. So everything in between.
Yeah. So you've lived in Charlotte County for a while, but you haven't really spent a lot of time until you got this job, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I moved here in 2021 and was working at Florida Gulf Coast University for 4 years. So Charlotte County is really a bedroom community for me. It's out early in the morning, back late at night, and until I got immersed here in the business scene of Charlotte County, it's truly amazing.
So my question for you is, now that you've really been immersed in Charlotte County, what is the coolest thing you've come across? Or what's the thing you were most impressed with?
Well, other than you, Ms. Mestola, it's just, no.
You flatter her.
No, it's just, in my role at FGC, I worked throughout the 5 counties. The biggest thing that blew me away here in Charlotte County is how everyone works cohesively together between this office, the commission, the departments, the school districts, the community partners, Charlotte Technical College and the school district, but your community partners like SCORE, Goodwill Industries, SBDC. I mean, everyone's a career source. Everyone is in constant communication. And other elements like Tradesman's Place, that's unique here to Charlotte as well.
Yeah. So do you think that's unique to Charlotte County, that kind of cohesive relationship?
It definitely is.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. In Southwest Florida, it certainly is.
Good. That's awesome. Thank you. Kristy, what about you? What's a typical day in your life?
It could be anything from traveling to a conference or an expo and reaching out to businesses, to working with our director on calls and inquiries that come into the office of, hey, we're looking to move to Charlotte County, or we're looking to expand. Is there a good fit for us? So it can be, it's different, and I enjoy that.
That's good.
It's different every day. You never know what you're going to have.
So that's awesome. Mm-hmm. All right, so now let's talk about SOF Week. First of all, for people who don't know what that is, can one of you explain what exactly is SOF Week and why it's such a big deal in the defense space?
Yes, United States Southern Command, SOCOM, they hold SOF Week, and it's Special Operations Forces Week here in Tampa, the annual event. And what that is it's a culmination of expo and conference for all those who support the warfighters. We have many brave men and women in our military, very select few are in what are called special operations or special operators, be it Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Green Berets, Delta Force, and there's a whole multitude of other acronyms out there as well. So about 800, well over 800 vendors. Some just as simple as supplying, tactical pens that will write upside down in an emergency, right up through, mission critical defense gear and drone technology and communications are represented there. Again, all to support the warfighters.
That's awesome. So, Kristy, what made this event important for Charlotte County, in your opinion, and what were you hoping to be able to accomplish while you were there?
Well, some of our focus in Charlotte County is on those advanced manufacturing positions and to be able to go and see what manufacturers are focused on supporting our military is very important to us. And so we were able to go and see, for example, Polaris, they make ATVs. Well, you can go buy your Polaris ATV, but you don't know they have another side that's supporting our warfighters and providing them special ATVs that can be equipped with rocket missile grenades.
Rocket launchers, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So that's
gun turrets, yep.
And then we have aviation focus too. Of course, aviation and that industry is a big focus for Charlotte County, and there are quite a few aviation companies that are exhibiting there too. So it's neat to go and see these companies that you think of Boeing. Oh, they're in your mind, they're in this silo. Well, you don't know on the other side what they're doing to help protect our country and help to support our military.
Oh, that's awesome. I had no idea that Polaris did that, but I think we should requisition for our next vehicle to be one of those.
Maybe we'll have to edit in some of the pictures that Kristy took along the way. Maybe Kristy in some of these vehicles.
Oh, I will. I'll add pictures
along the way. But to add to that, though, and that's on the business attraction side, on the retention side, why I would go to that is for existing businesses. For me, Charlotte County is unique. We're of 67 counties in the great state of Florida. There are only 2 that have accredited defense industrial base readiness government contracting programs.
Really?
We are one of them. So for us, it's for 11,000 businesses here that are existing, looking for different avenues to help them sell their products, goods and services, because it's all needed. So one of my mission, in addition to supporting Kristy on the attraction side, was to reach out to some of these companies, well, not even companies, but U.S. Southern Command. They're right here, just brought her card in here, Ashley Ferrier. She's the director of the Office of Small Business Programs. That's who the buyers are. So if you want to sell your goods and services in Charlotte County to U.S. Special Operations, that's who you sell it to. But our program here helps them get postured and positioned to be able to have that conversation, make those presented properly.
Do you know why there's only 2 counties that are like that? Is that just how it happened? Or?
No, it's just that's just the way it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Just emphasis awesome. That it's just seriousness of Charlotte County.
That's great. That speaks a lot to our vision for the future as well. All right. So, what were some of the biggest themes or trends you noticed, and is there anything that surprised you or stood out to either of you?
Well, you go first. There's so much.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's incredible because as we learned at FEDC last week, there is a new type of air mobility coming to Florida, which is super exciting. And so we were able to see Pivotal's Black Fly in action, and it's a pretty much can just take off vertically and land vertically. And
so it's just a drone that people can sit in and go, whether it's one person or 8 for commuters. So it's really cool to see that going through the Tampa Bay. And
that was incredible.
That was great. A lot of it, though, communication-based, is what we've seen, and how to ensure communication in disaster. And some of it could be requisitioned even here for not just special operators, but for disaster that happens here in Charlotte County, if we're prone to it. So things like tethered drones that can provide cell signal in the event of an emergency, things like that, just increasing our situation awareness so we can pass along to our emergency folks.
That's awesome. Were there any particular technologies, companies, or demos that caught your attention, either from business attraction or workforce attraction, that you thought were standout?
Well, of course, the minute I saw the Black Fly in action, I'm like, okay, we need to attract that type of drone company here to Charlotte County. We have our Punta Gorda Airport, which would be a great place for them to land and put in a vertiport, is what they're calling them, a vertiport. And then who knows, one day you could live in Charlotte County and say you need to go to Miami for a meeting, and you just run over there, pop in, and then jump over to Miami back in the same morning. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Amazing, yeah.
Yep. And the air traffic control for that is being laid out, and the guide is in place. So we're operating in a different plane because airplanes and aviation runs in 3 dimensions. So we have to be cognizant of that. So they've got that all mapped out. So that could be possible in the near future.
It's incredible to me how fast things have moved forward. You know, yesterday my daughter asked me, Mom, were there cell phones when you were a kid?
No.
And I was like, I'm sure they existed, but just not for that. So I find it so amazing that we're sitting here maybe 20 years later having a conversation about flying to Miami in a little drone thing. You know, it's like, it's really,
a personal,
when you think
a personal
about
mobile, like
Yeah.
a personal, like just, you know, and you can park them in your front yard. Black Fly has already been selling them.
Oh, that's amazing.
Pivotal is the company name. And there's other companies as well. But they're selling them individually. They're like less than 200,000, and they're training people that you can be trained in 3 days. To be able to fully operate this and keep it at your house and
Oh,
just,
gosh.
you know,
Could you imagine?
you would not even have to go to they are putting in vertiports for like almost like an air taxi type, you know, implementation. But on the personal note, you could just have one in your yard.
Yeah, I could see that being beneficial. I mean, when I worked in New York, traffic was obviously always an issue.
Right.
So I could imagine that doing something coordinated like that would probably alleviate a lot of those issues. But I'm sure that's 20 years in the future before it's,
Who knows?
yeah, but who knows?
Who knows
But-
how quickly?
Yeah, but I'm still fascinated at how fast things change. And I love that we are all kind of at the forefront of it. So I think that's really cool. And it says a lot about our vision, Charlotte County's vision for the future.
And when I saw the things that wowed me, just even from the beginning, because this was the 5th to the 8th, right, of May, began with opening plenary session, surprise introduction of our Secretary of Defense.
Yes, we love
Pete
it.
Hegseth, yeah.
That was awesome.
We got to see who's getting shuttled in the side door. Oh, good, look at that, it's Pete Hegseth. So, and he was introduced by Tampa's Region's State Senator Jay Collins, former,
he's also wonderful.
former Green Beret as well. So, really hits home.
Yeah, his story is incredible. I know we heard him speak. I hadn't heard him speak until FEDC conference last week. Do you want to just share a little bit about him and his story, like why you found him?
Yeah, take that, Kristy.
Oh, sure. So when we went to, like Mark said, we went to SOF Week and he introduced Secretary of Defense. He shared a bit of his story of how he was Green Beret, and then come to find out later he was a medic in the Green Beret. I learned that through some other reading, and he was injured and had injuries that led to an amputation. And yet he fully applied himself to be able to overcome that amputation, re-qualify as a Green Beret, go on to serve again, and continue serving. He was awarded a medal, and for some of his activities that he did with his team, and so now that he's retired, he's serving in the Florida State Senate, and then he's also operating Operation Barbecue, which, come to find out, had come to Charlotte County after Ian hit and provided over 800,000 meals to Charlotte County residents. And so just being able to meet him and learn that story, it's incredible.
It's inspirational, really.
Totally.
Yeah, very humbling, and so pleased to have dedicated leaders like that in service.
Yep.
Okay, Kristy, this one's for you. What conversations did you have that felt promising for Charlotte County?
A couple. Well, one I had specifically, someone was very interested in offering their venture capitalist connections. So that's something that when we have people come to our office, sometimes they're needing resources or they need funding, and we use SBDC, but sometimes it's nice to have another option. And so I've been doing follow-ups and reach outs after attending SOF Week to be able to establish those relationships and be able to have that resource for our community.
That's awesome. That's great news. And Mark, what about you?
Well, same for us. For our existing businesses here in Charlotte, was getting the connections with some of the key buyers that are looking for sourcing, whether it's U.S. SOCOM's Strategic Command's Office of Small Business Programs, or even others like Boeing's always hires out a lot of subs to manufacturers as well. So making some of those key connections is great, and as dumb luck would have it, and sometimes just because we're traveling with the redhead here, that we stumble and we get invited into Boeing's secret suite along the side, and we only had some good, apparently so. So we had some great one-on-ones.
That's awesome. Yeah. So this is the first year we've gone to SOF Week as Charlotte County Economic Development. Yeah. Do you think that helps us build credibility, or what else would you say we got out of attending the show?
We were the only, as often is the case, even in sales, be where other people aren't, right? be unique. If anything, we're disruptors.
Yeah.
In this class, and your marketing just shows that, right?
Yeah.
But it does. No, it's true. But it's such as responsible disruptors, right? So, and respectful. But in that we were told in different venues, and this spanned all of downtown Tampa was closed down. This is for fun. This is the second largest event they hold in Tampa.
Wow.
Annually.
I had no idea.
Well, the first, as Mayor Castor said, is the national cheerleading squad. So this is much nicer. There's not glitter and hairspray everywhere. It's just, but they shut down all of down just because it's so congested and spills out beyond the convention center into the harbor areas, into the adjoining hotels, right?
Wow.
So, and even going to different venues and areas, people, where are you from? I can't remember. Wow, that's a unique and novel idea. Tell me more.
Yeah.
What do you guys got that's going on? So we're able to, me and Kristy will talk about our area here at Enterprise Charlotte Air Park, the ECAP area out by the air park, where we've got, affordable land, still through the fence opportunities there, as well as our rest of that especially that particular area, for the attraction of the industries we look at: aviation support, aerospace, defense, medical manufacturing, and supply chain logistics.
And when we reiterate to them how the community coordinates together with the school district to be able to provide a workforce that has the training that they're looking for, that blows them away as well. And we're just going to keep, reiterating that home. This is huge because workforce is a top concern for a lot of companies.
Well, to make it easier, I'm working on a project which will be coming out shortly. We're going to highlight the school programs.
Okay.
Dr. Granstra sat down with me and told me which programs for each school that we'd like to highlight. I'm going to get in touch with their PIO. We'll do videos of each program. I had no idea that Punta Gorda had an actual working farm, and they opened, to show entrepreneurship, they opened a grain. So they sell grain for the animals.
The students.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's amazing.
So fundraiser for FAA.
So we have all of these awesome educational programs. I would like to highlight them for people coming in, and also to show that the middle schools have programs that feed into the high schools, which feed into the CTC and FSW. So, we have such a great ecosystem of education that really it's like the hidden gem. So we're so lucky to have that, and my plan is to kind of highlight each school for the cool, unique thing that they do. And then we're going to develop a sheet for you guys to be able to say, here, these are the educational programs. So starting in Murdoch Middle, they have this program which feeds into the high school version of this, which goes to CTC. So you can actually see visually that we're literally creating a workforce.
And this is what's already in place, but then it's also if you're bringing your company here or you're expanding, what do you need? It's going to be a constant update, refresh, what needs to, because it's going to change as the years goes on.
And they're able to pivot quickly, and they have demonstrated that, especially with childcare needs and certifications. What they needed was actually something else in the state of Florida, so they pivoted to get the people employed in months, not years.
Yeah, I agree. I heard a cool thing yesterday, which is that one of our manufacturers in the ECAP met with the school system, and they're going to actually sit down and make a program to teach them how to do certain things that this company needs. That it's great because they're going to come out with an advanced manufacturing certificate, but it's also great for the employer who needs employees. And so that's a great example of how the schools are working with the businesses and economic development to kind of solve the issues that we have.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So I think that's awesome. And I don't think that happens in other places. I really don't. I've never come across that.
It's very much siloed. And we're breaking that trend.
Yes, we fork inward, as Janet would say. Our schools and the businesses, we kind of come together like that, which is awesome. Some of these questions are a little bit redundant, but I'm going to go through it anyway.
Okay.
Are there any specific actions or partnerships we're pursuing as a result of the event? I know you already said a couple things, but anything else stand out to you?
Yeah, no, just the massaging the ones we get. And, in economic development, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's as we have to say. So I know you love this term. It's like gardening, right? We sprinkle the seeds.
Yes, I love
sprinkle
that.
the seeds, make awareness, be home, be sweet, but just follow up and be good partners. That always pays dividends for us, but sometimes those payoffs can be 6 months down the road. It can be 5 years down the road. You never know. So it's...
Yeah, we met with one company where, they're in California, but hey, look, certain executives have already left. They moved to different states. They need more room. Why does it still make sense for them to be where they're at?
Yeah.
So they're exploring options.
At the end of the day, just find a needs analysis, just listen, be humble, be sweet, be kind, and just follow up with useful information. That's a nice thing. But for the benefit of the taxpayers in Charlotte County, what was the price of admission for us? Zero, everybody. Yes, we are able to find these little honey holes because we have a .gov email handle. Many of these opportunities we're able to get into are zero as with a .gov email handle. So that's we keep mindful of that too.
Okay, so as you know, we have a PCS program, which we're actively recruiting veterans to come here and their spouses. So that's something I'm really proud of. I love our veterans. Do you think that going to these types of shows helps us attract a veteran workforce, or was there any way for us to kind of connect with the veteran workforce, or was it more just about the technology and the companies?
So one of the parts of SOF Week is they invite a lot of the nonprofits that support the Special Forces. And one of the groups that I met with there is called the Honor Foundation. And I've already scheduled a follow-up meeting with them because they help facilitate those
transitioning out.
Yeah, transitioning out. And we want to coordinate with them if there's a way to do so, to be like, hey, we want to welcome them into our community.
Yeah.
We want you to know that we're a good resource for you. How can we, collaborate on that to be able to put Charlotte County at the forefront of, hey, if you have some folks you're coming out, and this is what they do. This is their full-time mission, is to transition those folks out.
Yeah.
For the novice listeners here that are new to this, what the PCS program is permanent change of station. This is what she's referring to here. And in military, permanent change of station is where your next duty station is. So next permanent change of station is when we're exiting or going through TAPS in the military, usually 6 months to a year. We're able to communicate to them, hey, welcome. We would like to welcome you to our workforce in Charlotte County. You've already demonstrated, good discipline, showing up. This is all the things employers look for here. Yeah. And for us to talk about that program, and not just talk about that we have it, and we didn't say, we just started it last week, so we could say we have it for this event. This has been a program that's been in place for years.
Yeah, actually, they won marketing awards for it, I think, 2-3 years ago at FEDC.
Oh,
that for their PCS campaign, yeah. So this is something that they've been actively doing for a while. I say they, meaning the office before we got here.
And to further explain the PCS program, there are links on that page for folks to apply the jobs directly with employers in the county who specifically said, hey, put us on there. We want to hire veterans.
So, and that's a good point. If any company out there would like to be added to our PCS page, please reach out to us. We're happy to add your logo with a link to your company so veterans can find you easily when they're trying to relocate.
I think we just added a few last week, didn't we? Or we talked about it. Yeah.
So another cool thing, which I just talked about yesterday, was we're trying to develop something for trailing spouses. So let's say a veteran is coming here and she's just getting out. She decides, I want my family in Charlotte County. What are we going to do with the spouse? So we were trying to develop programs to support the trailing spouse. It's just in the infancy. We haven't really made decisions about anything yet, but that's something we're actively working on so that when families come here, there's something for everybody. So that's a cool thing, and hopefully we'll reveal more about it in the future.
I'll have to talk to you about that, because I think I saw some resources there that might be helpful.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So see, these conversations are very helpful. So yeah, I would love that, because it's something that we're trying to kind of play with, which I think, makes us unique, because not only are we supporting the vet, but their family. So,
absolutely.
All right. Let's see. Did you see any other community economic development office or anything that you felt you learned from, like a competitive, did you learn something from another agency?
No.
You guys were the only ones.
They weren't there.
We were it.
We were the only one.
That's by design. By design sometimes. Now, after this, I'll expect next year to be plenty more.
Yeah. Well, maybe we shouldn't publish this then. I'm joking. We want all of Florida.
Yes, that's right. We want to elevate all of Florida.
Exactly, yeah. All right, so now a little fun stuff. What was your biggest personal takeaway from the event, or maybe a moment that really clicked or made you think differently about your work?
Wow.
I'll start.
That's why she throws these as surprise questions. No, there's so many. That's why it's hard to choose.
Yeah, so I've had one moment, I've had many moments of being very grateful to work here. I'm sure you've heard me say a million times how much I love it here, what a great community, what a great job, what a great director we have, because she encourages us to grow and learn. But I had one moment, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I started in October, where I was like, this is where I'm meant to be. And it was that I got invited to go to breakfast with the president at Goodwill of Southwest Florida, because Kay was otherwise occupied and she wanted me to go and represent the county. So I went, and I was absolutely blown away by what an amazing organization they are. And that's the moment I realized I feel good about what I'm doing here. This is a wonderful place. And, all of the things we're doing here are to help Charlotte County get better, help Charlotte County move forward and elevate Charlotte County. So that was my aha moment where I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. I feel good about what I'm doing. And that's the first time in a really long time I've been able to express happiness while at work, which I never thought I'd find. I mean, I just thought work was something, they call it work for a reason, but this place is really something special. So that was my aha moment. I know it wasn't related to the show, but that was for me what really just made me feel like, thank you God, because this was just such a great place. And I love working with everybody here. I think we have such a great team. So
we have a little fun in there too sometimes, everybody. So
lots of fun,
but
we're making it fun.
Kristy got to see my kind of aha moment. I've been involved in defense industrial base stuff in numerous ways for several years, but in this capacity, this was unique. For me, you go to a big expo like this, there's 12,000 people, at least I'm at the plenary session, right? When the CEO of Defense Works, you run into, turn the corner, and he remembers your name, remembers my name, puts a big smile on my face.
Yeah.
So that means, okay, we're making progress. Nothing is instantaneous in this world. Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
it's the ground game that gets it done. It's.
All right. Any aha moments? Don't feel pressure. I mean, it's not like you're on camera having to come up with something.
Well, she almost pushed the launch button on the rocket launcher, and
Did you
hilarious.
really?
Does this button work?
Do we want to talk about the dog?
I always wanted to know the dog.
Oh my God, I love the dog.
The two dogs that were being trained.
The mechanical dogs, yeah.
Oh, the mechanical ones.
Mechanical dogs.
Yeah, because he's like the best of everything. They don't eat and they don't go to the bathroom, so I don't have to worry about my floor anymore or be upset with them for not listening.
One of the demonstrations was a mechanical dog that could be remote controlled, obviously sent into sensitive situations, whether it's bomb sniffing or, those types of events.
Peeking around corners.
Yes, looking around corners and actually acting very cute at the same time.
Oh, I know, it was so adorable.
Pose. They programmed it to pose, and she melted.
I want one.
But then we did see real dogs who were being trained inside, some German Shepherds.
Really?
They had some that were being escorted around the
You're not allowed to pet them, are you?
No.
See, that's like torture.
They were
for
in
me.
training.
Yeah, so that's torture. I think that's not fair.
And they started putting sunglasses on them.
Oh my Lord, no! I would not. I'd jump the fence and be arrested immediately.
No, my
I'm an animal person.
Moment is in line with what Mark said and what you said. Is what we're doing is making a difference in our community, and that just hits my heart. Hey, every day we're here to bring our best efforts to elevate everyone's, the things that we're doing is going to help people have a better life in Charlotte County, have better employment opportunities in Charlotte County. And that just hits me. So
yeah, same. I get goosebumps because I'm I've never been happy at work. Yeah. No offense to any employer. I've had to stand up all of you, but it was just different because I feel like here I'm making a difference. Whereas in my past, it was always retail. And I just felt like yes, it's great it serves the purpose it serves, but it's not fulfilling a greater need in me. Yeah. So I feel like this job kind of hits me personally and professionally. It's perfect. I feel like it was made for me. So I feel so lucky. All right. So actually now this is going to be fun. Okay. What's the coolest booth you saw?
Oh, wow.
I know at the last show you immediately said the Mario Brothers one. Was there anything kind of like that that stuck out?
There's nothing to level up. You got to remember at an expo like this, they're just showing a little peek. They're not showing the world or the U.S. trade secrets on a show floor.
Yeah, they wouldn't want somebody like me there because those trade secrets would be out.
Seeing the modified Polaris razor, that was, wow. But
didn't you go in a helicopter? I thought I saw a picture of you in a plane or something.
Well, she looked like she was jumping out of a helicopter. That was just a nice scale mock-up. That's a very good photo op.
What was your favorite moment or conversation?
Honestly, it was the candid conversations that we both had separately with Boeing.
Really?
Yeah, we just, again, just dumb luck and redhead luck here. We get...
I love that.
We meet someone on the floor and says, hey, when you want to come back to our private suite? Yeah, let's go. So we just go, it's because it's very quiet on the show floor, and went in, and all of a sudden we're meeting on separate sides of the wall that they built inside of the suite. And Boeing, as everyone knows, is gigantic. But we were able to have some really good conversations. Mine was on the supply side, and seeing some really good opportunities here for potentially. We'd love to see some parts distribution here out of Charlotte, because that's going to be. They're not going to build airplanes here, but they're support it in the aerospace industry. We'll take it, absolutely.
Yeah, long-term growth. Yep.
And on the other side of the wall, we're talking to a couple of the other executives, so it's just. Works out sometimes. Dumb luck, be kind, be sweet.
Awareness and letting people know
he says planting seeds.
Committed to aviation, our community.
We'll start wearing overalls next time.
Well, we have an ag program at Punta Gorda if you would like to go attend.
Farmer Mark is in the house.
Yeah. All right. What was the best food you had in Tampa?
Food?
Yeah. What was the best food?
Harpoon Harry's. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard at a show, but just down the street was a nice little lunch place, and that was about it.
They had an amazing keto salad.
Oh, good. So healthy. Okay.
I know.
All right, this is going to be a ridiculous question, but will you go back next year?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh yeah. No, definitely keep our eyes peeled on a lot of opportunities like this, and especially again just being where other people typically aren't.
Okay. So I don't really have any more questions. Is there anything else you guys want to share about your experience there, or something you saw, did, or learned?
Well, it was neat because they had a separate. It was so huge, and it was in multiple buildings, but they did have a separate section for up and coming companies, new companies.
The accelerator program.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it was neat to be able to see what's coming, what maybe hasn't made it to the main floor yet. Sometimes those companies are more mobile. Maybe they're looking to get into a different space.
Those are the ones that are going to be scaling up. So we hit those pretty hard, and we've had good success at past shows like for NATO and others that we still have in our pipeline today for Charlotte County. And they just appreciate the reach, the fact that we'll be here when they're needed, when we're ready.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you literally are planting seeds. So your little thing works. I like it. All right. So I think that's it for us for today. You're welcome. It was really fun to talk to you guys about that. Our next episode is going to be Jordan Ray, our data analyst, and he's going to be talking about the Metro forecast and his feelings and thoughts on what the numbers mean for Charlotte County and for Florida as a whole. So I'm really looking forward to digging into that and seeing, because he's such a numbers guy, what his thoughts are, on adding 20,000 people in a year.
That's going to be exciting because I think we're 3 entire shopping centers behind.
Yep. So,
as they told the board.
Yeah. Hello,
retailers,
developers.
are you listening?
Exactly.
When you're needed.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for listening.
Thank you for hosting us.